Hi, I'm Yvonne Pran with Bible 805, and we are on day 8 of reading through the New Testament. And our passage today is Matthew 15 and 16. And in this passage, sort of the overall topic is we're going to talk about some blind guides and a true confession. So the passage starts out with, again, the Pharisees and the teachers of the law. They come up to him and they're, again, asking him, why do your disciples break the tradition of the elders? And constantly it's tradition of the elders, tradition of the elders. Why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? And Jesus is always having to take them back and show them that that isn't what serving God is about. He sums up his rebuke of them by saying, these people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. And it isn't just what we do that matters, it's that our hearts are right with Jesus. And once again, Jesus reminds the people that it isn't just what comes out of what you do that makes you unclean. It's what comes out from inside you. And finally he gets so frustrated, and he talks about the scribes and the Pharisees being really blind guides. And I think it's really sad to be described in that way. And I think, although we want to point fingers at the scribes and the Pharisees and we say, oh, they were leading people astray and they shouldn't have done that, and aren't they horrible? Every one of us that's a teacher, we need to take these warnings so seriously and make sure that what we're doing is clear, that we see God clearly, that we are in his word, that we are doing the kind of things that we need to do so that we can be a good reflection of our master Jesus. And it goes on after his interaction with them. He has this situation with this Canaanite woman where at first he just says, no, I'm not going to heal your daughter. You're not one of the lost Jews of Israel. But she says, even the little puppies can get the crumbs from the table. And we don't really know the whole situation of this setting, but Jesus, who I think all along, well, of course, because he's God, he knew, but he knew he was going to heal her child. And he says, your daughter's healed, go in peace. And she does. And her daughter was healed from that very hour. Then again, he goes along the Sea of Galilee, and the people follow him. He has compassion on them because they haven't had anything to eat for a long time. And the disciples say, well, the people are hungry, just send them away. He says, once again, no, you feed them. And they don't have very much. This time they just have, he says they have 7 loaves and just a few small fish. And once again, giving this little bit that they have to Jesus, he takes it, he multiplies it, and everyone is fed. And then people, they want more signs. The scribes and the Pharisees, we want to see this, we want to see you do that. And Jesus just says, no, I'm not going to do that. And the disciples, though, they're getting confused, they're complaining, they come to Jesus with their complaints, and Jesus then says to them, who do people say that I am? And they come up with all sorts of things. Well, people say you're just like today. People say you're a prophet. People say you're a good man. People say, oh, whatever. Maybe somebody come back from the dead. Who knows? And he says, but again, who do you say that I am? And Peter steps up and he says, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And that's who he is. That's who Jesus is. And Jesus commends him. But then Peter, true to Peter's self, turns around right after that. And when Jesus talks about how he's going to go to the cross and having to die, Peter says, oh, no, no, that's not going to happen to you. And we need to be so careful that even though we might know who Jesus is, that he's not the Jesus in our image. He is the Savior of the world. Sometimes that means doing hard and difficult things, but he does what he does because he's God, and he will fulfill our salvation.